Okay, so great. Yeah, so I'm here with Len from the Scheme today. Which instrument do you play in the Scheme?
I'm the lead guitarist in the
Lead
scheme.
guitarist. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, Glenn's just going to be giving us a bit more insight into the Scheme and sort of what their influences are, where sort of, the kind of people they are as a band. And yeah, we're just going to go from there really. So do you mind telling me, I guess, a bit about your background and the band's background?
Yeah, so me and Jake started about year nine at secondary school. So it was me and the drummer, and we started playing sort of Royal Blood covers and just getting used to jamming together. That was the main thing. So it was only the two of us to start with, and then we decided that we wanted to start a whole band. So we wanted a more of a proper setup. So we spoke to Ben, and at the time, me and Ben were having guitar lessons together.
Mm,
So I knew Ben was good guitarist, and it was kind of sparse at school. There wasn't many people that played instruments, so kind of anyone that did was like super cool. So you'd get them in your
mm.
band, and then Tom was in a brass band at the time, and he still plays brass instruments now. He plays the euphonium, um, and yeah, so we got Tom in, and he was playing the bass as well a little bit. So we kind of formed it together, and we went through a couple of different people for the band. But yeah, we formed at secondary school, and we've probably been going about 5 years now as a band.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it seems like a long time for a college band, but yeah,
Mm.
that's kind of how we started. Um,
No, that's
just do
cool.
yeah gigs at school. That was all we were doing to start with.
Yeah. And obviously now you're all not at school together. You've all kind of I mean, you're all still relatively close by from one another, but obviously you're all kind of living in like I guess sort of different locations, right? If I'm correct there, or at least one of you is in Birmingham, I think, right? And the
Yeah,
rest of
well,
you are sort of outside Birmingham.
we all came from sort of round Banbury way to start with, and
Mm.
then Ben's moved up for uni, so he
Yeah,
lives in Birmingham now, and the three of us still live here. So what
yeah,
we'll do is we'll set a day aside, and Ben will come down and join us for that. But then if we have a practice after college, we're already in Birmingham anyway, so then
mm.
Tom will come and join us for that. So it hasn't been long. I mean, we've only done it for sort of 18 months when we've been in different places, but it
Yeah.
seems to be working all right. It seems to be working.
No, that's good. I mean, yeah, it's good that you're like able to continue, collaborating and working together despite the distance. I think that's really, yeah, really great to see. So, yeah, no, like, congratulations for like managing to keep things afloat there.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, in terms of like you and the rest of the band, what would you say like your major influences are that have sort of like inspired you to, I guess, play music, create music? Like what kind of inspirations have like gotten you to this point now, would you say?
The main one to get us started was obviously the Foo Fighters, and we just anyone
Right.
that rocked Foo Fighters, Nirvana, and just it was classic rock was sort of the start, and then we kind of realized that our strengths were in more indie music, so
Mm,
we started um listened to more of the Arctic Monkeys, Baby Shambles, the Libertines, and we just enjoyed like the scrappy rock sound because when you're starting out, you're not technically amazing, so you kind
mm,
of anything that you can play that sounds like a song, you'd go for that.
yeah.
So sort of 2 or 3 years in, we were just strumming power chords really. But yeah, definitely songs, Libertines, and now it's a little bit more refined because me and Ben study a bit jazz, so we'll add like jazz harmonies into our track, but then still try and keep it true to indie.
Mm.
So like a really basic riff, and then we'll throw in like tritones and things, and then yeah, that's kind of what gives us our sound is by keeping it at indie roots, but also experimenting with time signatures and different chord shapes and everything.
Yeah, no, that's I could definitely see that in, from what I've picked up on from going to gigs of yours and being at that rehearsal recently as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, no, a good mix of influences there, but you kind of meshed them all together in quite a
yeah.
fairly yeah, fairly like I don't know, smooth way there. So yeah. Um Another thing I like quite admire, I was going through your catalog sort of in preparation for this interview, like on Spotify and stuff like that. I've noticed you've got like quite a decent variety of like visual influences playing into like your cover art and stuff like that. Um, just like the way you incorporate like quite a vast variety of things like photography and like obviously graphic design, which I think you mentioned to me previously that you have
Yeah.
a quite a big hand in there. So yeah, like what are your sort of like main inspirations for like things like that as well? Because that's always something that really fascinates me. It's like what makes people choose those like certain cover arts and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, with songs, I have an idea in my head for what color a song is. So what color it sounds like, if that makes any
Mm,
sense. So if I hear "Tempting," which is one of our singles, I heard red. As soon as I heard that riff, I knew that it was red and it had to be red. So when I get that in my head, I kind of design around that, and I
mm,
decide how I'm going to do it. Um, and then yeah, for each one I have like a color in mind. So the first track was kind of pinky purple. It was actually um, someone else that designed that first one, but we kind of gave them the idea, and it was just someone at school that could draw. And we thought, oh, that'd be really cool if you could design us an art
mm.
for that. And then Secret Hideout is actually it's a picture of the shed where we record all our tracks.
Right, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think I remember you saying that actually. Yeah,
Yeah, but that is the drum shed. So I just thought I
right.
could do that, but I don't want just a picture of the shed. So I'll kind of play around with filters and it
Mm.
I never have an end goal. I kind of start it with some ideas and see where it goes. And then you mentioned that you like the Premonitions of Yesterday cover.
Yes, yeah, no, that one especially. I really liked the like slow shutter speed kind of motion blurry kind of aspect of the image. I'm always yeah, I don't know, it's just very visually appealing for me, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And experimentation within photography. Yeah.
that one was it's not visually appealing when you find out. It was basically we were in Portsmouth, we were at Victoria's
Right. Okay.
was my then girlfriend that was she was well, we were all a bit drunk and she was kind of wobbling the camera
Yeah.
and oh I'll take a picture of that and obviously a little bit wobbly and then
Mm.
we looked back at it we're like that looks really cool like
Yeah.
next day so what I did is I again put that on Photoshop and I kind of exaggerated it because I found something that
Mm.
worked. I thought I'll make it more blurry and like exaggerate the colors and everything.
Yeah. Just
And I thought
distort it a bit further. Yeah.
yeah, because Premonitions of Yesterday was an idea from Ben. Because premonitions means looking into the future, and then yesterday, obviously, it's kind of a play on words. So we thought it needs a bit more of a confusing album
Mm.
cover with something more to look into. So you don't
Right.
look at it and see everything. You look at it, oh, there's a little bit there and a bit there and
Yeah, you
everything.
notice details. Yeah.
That's kind of the inspiration for that one. And then again, it was the colors. I saw sort of dark blue and yellow and everything, and it kind of because it was an EP, there was more than just one track
Mm. Yeah.
to sort of cater for. But yeah, that's kind of where the album art is. So it's all more of an experiment with a color in mind.
Mm.
It's a
Yeah,
bit
no, I mean it definitely worked out. That's definitely yeah, I mean as a obviously as a photographer, that was instantly what caught my attention when going through your catalog. And yeah, it's definitely an effective use of cover art if I've ever seen one. So
very
yeah,
much.
no, well yeah, well done to you lot for that. Yeah, so I've been to obviously a few of your live shows now as well. And I've gotten a feel for like the kind of music you play. Um What would you say are like your favorite songs to perform overall as a group? Whether it's like covers, content that you've produced, like whatever else really. Yeah.
There's a couple of the originals. I love playing Tempting. Because with that one, it's kind of been our longest going original. So we wrote it, definitely one of the first tracks, and we have the riff to start off with, which we've kind of because we've been playing it for long enough, we've been able to add in live elements, if that makes sense. So take it from a studio song to a live
Yeah.
performance. So we've got the riff at the start, and then me and Ben, we kind of do like the guitar solo harmony thing together. That was another thing, and I
Mm,
love the ending of it. To have it at an end of a set because it literally ends on da 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 da, and that's it done. It's kind of there's no ringing out or anything. And then Dagger in Your Heart, which was our literally our first track.
Mm,
We thought, how can we make this a bit more interesting? Because it cut out and there was a bit of bass, and then the drums came in. So we just kept the drums going, and we thought we could do more of like an introduce the band, and I can get everyone clapping along. And
mm,
that one's definitely been one that I've really enjoyed performing recently because
mm.
people that have been fans for a little while, they know about the lyrics and everything. So with the way we do the stab, and then it's this sink to the bottom if any would anyone care, they kind of know it, so you get the crowds singing along. And if we do more an intimate gig like the Sunflower Lounge and we get our friends there, it's just a great atmosphere because everyone knows the song,
Yeah, no, 100%.
which is yeah, that's a good one. And then cover wise, I love doing "Still Take You Home" by the Arctic Monkeys, because that killer that riff at the start, and it's
Mm.
just got such good energy in it. Yeah,
Arctic Monkey songs typically good crowd pleasers. Yeah,
yeah,
good
people know
crowd pleaser
it.
tracks.
Yeah, and we did Franz Ferdinand as well. We did Take Me Out a little while ago in the
Mm.
Sunflower. Sold out Sunflower. We got everyone was bouncing, and that's probably the best
Hell
track on it.
yeah.
And yeah, that was really cool.
Definitely a highlight for sure.
Yeah, the whole Sunflower, all of them were moving in time. It was great fun.
Would you say that's one of your like um more like fun gigs that you've done? Like, are there any like highlights in terms of concerts that you've done recently or anything like that?
Yeah, I'd say we did the O2 Academy, and although there weren't too many people there, that was the best sound we've ever had. Like on stage
Mm,
sound was amazing. Like I could hear everyone. And then I listened back to the videos and everything sounded great out the front.
yeah.
It's a shame there weren't more people there really because it was a really good gig. And then the Sunflower, when it's busy and you get people there that you know, it's just such a good atmosphere. Like I know it's
Mm,
only a small venue, but when people are just having a lovely time and they're all moshing and dancing, it's just and you get off and everyone's that's brilliant. And yeah, you can't beat the Sunflower Lounge for energy. We've probably played there about 12 times now as
mm.
well.
Yeah, no,
But
I've done lots of work at Sunflower Lounge. Probably like I think that and like Hare and Hounds and King's Heath, two venues I've probably ended up working at the most. So yeah, I've
yeah,
got a lot of fond memories of that venue as well. So I can understand that.
definitely. Yeah,
Uh,
that's
yeah,
good.
no. So yeah, moving on. Speaking of Sunflower Lounge, obviously I'd say I think my first introduction with you and the scheme would have been the Future Sound project weekender. Which obviously happened this last February, yeah, at the Sunflower Lounge. So I just wanted to get a bit more because that seemed like quite a big deal, that event at the time for the city and everything. How did that opportunity come about, and what was it like to be a part of that event with like so many other younger acts and stuff like that?
Well, we've been working with this Future Sound project for a little while. I think our first gig was August 2021 actually,
Mm,
because Ben had moved up because he's the year above us, and he'd got us a gig. So we went up there in the August and played the Sunflower, and it was absolutely brilliant. Everyone was loving it, and it was kind of our first taste of gigging in Birmingham.
mm.
It was the first go that we had. So we've worked with them. We've probably done 15 or 16 gigs with the Future Sound project. So
Right, okay.
they know of us now.
Yeah, there was already like a connection, a decent connection there. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, they've worked with us before, and um, they know that bands from Bim are keen because we're all from Bim except for the bass player Tom.
Mm,
So it was more of a networking opportunity. So they mentioned it to us, and we were like, yeah, this sounds like a good opportunity to go and meet other bands and follow. And
mm.
because there was so many on, you every gig we do, it's follow for follow, and you'll kind of network and
Yeah,
snowball
no,
there.
100%. I mean, that's how I found a lot of people for this project here, was just talking to people during that event.
Yeah,
Such as like Josh McQueen and like yeah, like Broken Drumstick and all those. Like just got chatting with them and like honestly, yeah, just yeah, it's been great. So yeah, I can totally relate with that big time.
yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, everyone's just friendly, and because everyone's on the same level, you're all performing at the same venue. No one's
mm,
kind of there's no hierarchy. And because I think there were 8 bands on a day. Is it 7 or 8 bands?
Something like that. Yeah, it was a lot of bands. Yeah.
There was a lot of opportunities to talk to people, and some people you know, some people you don't. So it's
Mm,
a good chance
yeah.
to,
No, good networking opportunity, definitely.
yeah, for sure, sure.
Yeah, so yeah, to continue that theme of like I guess the future sound and all and like younger bands and like bands that like are from colleges and stuff like that. I definitely from like my experience of photographing a lot of like the younger music scene now for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
I've definitely, gotten the vibe that there's a great like sense of community there, as you were saying, between like everyone in the local scene in the West Midlands, especially surrounding younger bands like yourself. Yeah, it just feels like there's a healthy support system in place there with, as you said, like bands going to each other's sets, hyping each other up and stuff like that, booking each other on lineups. I'll tell you the amount of times I've been to a gig of one band and there'll be three other bands that I've seen before or have seen on the same lineups before or whatever else. So yeah, like I was just gonna ask you really like what's it like having that like sense of community and like um sense of like yeah, just like that support system. It must be like encouraging, I'd imagine.
yeah. It's really good with music. What I've found so far is to get started is quite easy. I think when you're in BIM, there's plenty of opportunities to start with, and if you want to get a sort of ground level gig, you want to get out and you want to play these venues, sort of 150 cap, then it's a good thing to do, and you get to know promoters such as we've worked with, Sonic Gun, Future Sound Project, Arthur from the Catapult Club as well,
Mm.
and recently Open Beat have messaged us for a gig at the Victoria next month as well.
Yeah, great.
We get to know people, and the one thing we have found that's been tricky is selling tickets, ticket sales, because what we've found is a lot of people don't have the money for
Mm.
tickets. It's like a common one, or they'll have a family dinner or something, which means they don't go. And yeah, there's definitely one thing that makes it a bit less enjoyable is the push for tickets,
Mm.
because I mean, it's lovely if you can sell 50 tickets because you can make lots of money, you make everyone happy. But when you've tried everyone, like you've put it out all week and you've tried all of your mates, all of your family, and you've sold 5 tickets and you
Mm.
turn up. It's almost a little bit embarrassing sometimes, and you appreciate that you're just getting started out and everything. But I think there should be less pressure on the bands selling the tickets and more on the actual promoters sort of selling the tickets and promoting the gig. Uh,
Yeah, no, totally. I think I agree with you there. I mean, it's literally in the name, promoters, right? You're
yeah,
supposed to be, yeah, I guess like marketing the event and getting it out there and stuff. It shouldn't be entirely the band's job to make sure that people are attending. So yeah, I totally get the frustration there. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's quite a tricky one, really. As you said, like there's only so many people you can go to and try and convince to buy a ticket, isn't there? Um, and not, money's tight. We're in a cost of living crisis. You know,
definitely. Yeah. It's
it's
not
like it's not
necessarily,
easy.
but yeah, I think. Well, I mean, we had a great opportunity in the first year through another student at BIM. They mentioned it was similar to this actually. They had their brother was at uni and
Mm.
he was doing his final sort of project, and his project was to record a band. So his
Right.
project was
Yeah.
to record a band and sort of make the whole track, and then we'd get all the master and everything for it. And that was Secret Hideout. So that's the only one that
Okay.
we own ourselves. And we got to go up to Resonance Studios in Digbeth, and
Right. Yeah.
it was yeah, it was in Dudley, I think it was, and that was a brilliant opportunity because we had 2 days in a row when we went up, and we got to use it was a quarter, I think £250,000 studio with a full desk and everything,
Yeah.
and
That's the real deal, Resident Studios, isn't
yeah,
it? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. They've had some big names record there, from what I've gathered. Yeah.
it's proper studio. So that was something that we wouldn't have got if we weren't at BIM. But I think that with music, what I've learned is you have to drive it yourself because
Mm.
it's not like a go to work at 9, finish at 4, and then go home and watch telly. Like if you
Mm,
do that, you won't make it very far. It's all about what you do outside of the kind of the main bit. It's the 6 to 10 or whatever they say. So if you come back and you're practicing or emailing people, making stuff, promoting stuff, writing, that's really kind of what you need to be doing. So I think
mm,
use the support, like you said about the support, use that through the day, but then take it when you get home and run with it. Really, just make sure you're doing that practice. Make sure you're doing that album cover that needs to be done 3 weeks ago, sort of thing.
yeah.
And yeah, just making sure that it happens outside of college. That's the main thing I found, because there's only so far people will push you, because
Mm.
there's a lot of people that want it, so you kind of have to. There's quite a lot of work to do to kind of step above everyone else, really.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's the thing with like a lot of creative industries, isn't it? There's like so many people out there who will be doing the exact same thing as you, and you've got to put yourself one step ahead, haven't you? So, yeah,
Definitely.
no, I
Um,
100% understand that.
yeah.
All right. So, yeah, we'll move on to sort of our last couple of questions here. So, obviously, it goes without saying that Birmingham, especially, is an extremely diverse city culturally, with a range of different backgrounds that are, very present all over the city. From what you've gathered, obviously playing lots of shows here with the Scheme and being in the city a lot in general, going to gigs and what have you, would you say that this diversity is reflected within the local music scene? And if not, how can we make it more inclusive?
I think it is 100%, because I think music's something that anyone can get into. Like it doesn't matter. It kind of, as soon as you start jamming with someone or you start writing with someone, like whatever they look like or like anything else just goes out the window. Like at
Mm,
that point you're just working with them. You're making music. So I definitely think that that is one of the best things about music, is it doesn't sort of limit you because of anything else. Like if you're good at music, you're good at music. People don't tend to care about sort of what's going on.
mm,
But I think it's really good. I mean, college is so diverse and it's so sort of supportive. Like you could walk into college in like a bright orange jumpsuit and people wouldn't even bat an eyelid. Like you could do whatever you
mm,
wanted. And yeah, I definitely think that having worked with different people from sort of all different backgrounds, I've learned that um, yeah, I think that's how you get your inspiration. Because if you sit on your own all the time, you'll run out of ideas after a while. But if you work from someone with someone that's come from somewhere completely different to you, they think differently, and
mm,
then if you're like, oh, I literally can't think of where this is going to go, they might just have an idea, and it's that's why you need to work with other people,
mm,
100%. So I think the diversity is definitely key, and obviously, even as being as diverse as just playing another instrument, that's
mm.
one thing. Because there's countless times when I've been like producing a track with the drummer from our band, and I've been like this, like with the speakers and trying to listen to things, and he's gone, right, it's there, it needs to be there, and he'll do it, and then you think, oh, that's better, that's what it is, but he hears it differently because he's a drummer, and
Yeah, of course.
so he gets the rhythm and the bass down, and I make all the weird noises on top. But he couldn't do that, and I couldn't do that at the moment. So that's why you need to work with, whether diverse means playing another instrument, being from a different country, or
Mm.
whatever it is. Like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
But
but it could be anything, whether it's race, gender, sexuality, what instruments they're playing, what music they're into, whatever else. Yeah, like genre,
yeah,
you
for
know.
sure.
Because yeah, I mean, there's so many different subcultures and like everything like that going on in Birmingham. I think it's great to, if we can, try and make it merge more. I think the Future Sound Weekender actually did a really good job at that. Where you had obviously you had bands where it was all like white men as well, but you also had bands that were you had black artists there, LGBT. You had, plenty of bands, primarily like women bands as well, all sorts of like great like diversity in there. So that's the kind of thing, yeah, definitely. That me personally, at least, I'm trying to look out more for because I think that's great.
And also a diversity in music, like what they're actually playing. Because
Yeah, 100%.
not uncommon to go to a lot of gigs, and you hear Kilby Girl, and you hear the Backseat Lovers, and you hear like these bands and these tracks that get played often. But if you go to a gig and you hear someone that's doing some shoegaze or someone that's playing like a bluegrass thing, you think, wow, this is different. Like, and I think going to different gigs is another thing that's definitely worth doing to expand. Because if you're a rock artist and all you ever do is go and see rock bands, listen to rock music, and hang around with rock people, you'll only be able to do rock.
Yeah,
Whereas
it's a very closed-minded approach. Yeah.
yeah, but if you go to a cafe somewhere where someone's doing a flamenco set, like that might spark something else. It might be that you think, oh wow, how is he doing that? And you go home and you have a look into it. And I know my guitar teacher, he does samba, he does flamenco, he does all sorts of different types of music. And I find myself writing, I never play a major or minor chord. It's always a major nine or a minor seven or something,
Mm,
and I just can't simplify it because I've had this other inspiration. Um, so yeah, I think going to different live events is definitely another one that's important, and not closing your mind off to things. Like
yeah.
if you don't like metal, you don't like country, go to a metal gig. You might really enjoy it, and then
Mm.
you come out of that and think, oh, I'm gonna write a metal song, and you feel inspired. So no, it's good for that for sure, definitely.
Yeah, no, 100%. I totally agree with you there. So yeah, I mean, I think we've pretty much covered all the main sort of themes and like bases that I wanted to cover in the interview here. We've been going for just shy of 30 minutes. So yeah, I think we'll get round to wrapping this up. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's been lovely having you on, and thank you for talking to me and collaborating with me throughout this like project I'm doing as well. Before we close things off, is there anything else you'd like to sort of add or promote before before we conclude things here?
Well, we're currently working on another single, so we've got new track. I think you heard it at the practice. It was Heat Stroke. It was called.
Yeah.
That's our latest track. So we're in the process. We've recorded most of it now, and then we're mixing it, and then hopefully we'll get that marketed. And yeah, it's been lovely to work with you. And I think the pictures that we've sent through, I know I've shown them to family members, I've shown them to friends. Oh, they're excellent, and they really like them. They've
Oh, that's lovely.
yeah, they've really complimented the pictures, and they've laughed at a couple of them when Jake on his phone and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really helpful for us to learn about it from a different point of view, because
Mm,
working with musicians all the time, like I said about the diversity, you're stuck in music, but to
mm,
work with someone that's focused on the visual and how it looks is refreshing, because then you think, oh, I could do it differently next time, or I could take a picture from here. And also it's given us loads of content. So if we want to put out like a message, we can put one of the great pictures at the top.
exactly. Yeah, you've got content for months at this point, thanks to I think the two gigs I went to of yours and the rehearsal session. So yeah, social media content covered. Got it nailed there. So
Tagged in all of them, yeah. But that's definitely been great, and I'm sure that we'll work again in the future if we've got another gig coming up. Or
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like stay connected, definitely. If you ever need you've done me a massive solid by being a part of this project, obviously for part of my uni thing. So, if you ever need me to, return the favor, photograph a gig or anything else, like feel free to hit me up. If I'm available to do it, I will usually do it.
yeah,
So yeah, no.
we, we appreciate you reaching out to us, because although there's a lot of negatives on social media, like it's a great place for meeting people, because you'd have never have got in contact with us if we hadn't have got on there, and
Yeah, no, exactly.
kind of where your opportunities happen. And yeah, we appreciate you picking us, because like I said, there's 16 bands on there that you could have put in the magazine. But
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully it's been fairly easy for you, and we've
No,
given it.
honestly, it's been a pleasure working with you and everyone else. Yeah, and it's been a great time. I mean, this is what I want to do for a career. So the fact that anyone's even given me the opportunity to like tag along to anything is like, yeah, amazing. I love it. So
Yeah, everyone's kind of in the same boat at the moment. Any opportunity is a good opportunity,
mm,
and yeah, I'm always more than happy to sort of help people out, because I know that we're very much not at a level that we can like disband things. We've got
yeah.
so yeah, and that's been really great. And I know no one else is here at the moment, but they all said, "Oh, let me know how the interview goes and everything." They're just not they don't have the confidence to sort of
Love
talk
that.
about the same. But
No,
yeah,
I totally get it. It is like quite a weird thing to be interviewed in this kind of format, so I get it. But yeah, no, thanks again for joining me today. And yeah, I think it's just hit 9. I think we'll wrap things up.
no worries. Well, hopefully that's all been everything that you need, and we look forward to seeing the magazine. Hopefully we'll get a copy.
Yeah, yeah. No, I do intend to print like at least one copy for each band. It just honestly, yeah, it just depends how finances go. But yeah, you'll definitely hear back about the magazine 100% in due time.
We look forward to it, and obviously we'll stay in touch with gigs and photos and everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been lovely to work with you. So thank you very much again.
No, thank you as well.
Yeah, good luck with everything. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, wicked. No, you too.